Sorry?
You keeping okay?
Yeah, very well. Anyway, Ron, I've become quite good at lying. Just little incy-wincy tinsy ones over the last few days.
Yeah.
Because actually there's a very special reason why I wanted to speak to you, especially on Zoom. Basically, I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to tell you that you're one of this year's recipients of the BMC George Band Award.
Well, yeah, well, my God, that's so much. Yeah, yeah, that is fantastic. Thank you.
Don't swear, remember the children.
No, I'll keep that is so tremendous. Yeah, I just think, oh my God, I sort of do a bit, and lots of other people do.
Excuse me, understatement of the year. I suppose I do a bit. Right, okay, so the nomination form, just a few points that I've got from that. Mountain Rescue, Fell and Rock Climbing Club, Youth Development, Guidebook Work, BMC, Juniper Trust, Cumbria Bolt Fund, Penrith Climbing Wall, and the list just goes on.
It's just,
and, and you're secretary of the BMC Lakes area and the newsletter editor. I mean, when do you sleep, basically?
Oh, I have just plenty of time. I've got a fit in town council and other things as well, so it's.
So you do other things, like town council, yeah.
Junior Eden runners. I'm a coach with them as well.
Yes.
Yes.
I
take out the youngest ones, the 8 to 10-year-olds.
So when did it? Tell me all about this then. Just give me a brief, overview of all the volunteering you're doing in Mountain and other volunteering.
It's all. I was in the rescue team as well. I joined the rescue team in 1967, 66. I was in there for 25 years, and I was deputy leader of the Penrith team. That's the Penrith team. So that was quite interesting. I found that when I started, that was much more easygoing. We didn't even have a base or a vehicles or stuff. We had a I think we had a stretcher, a bell stretcher, and a McKinney stretcher. But we had a rope stretcher. I remember sadly brought somebody down from Hike Up Nick a long time ago on a rope stretcher. They were dead, unfortunately. But so that was a long time. But then it got more complicated. Somebody mentioned first aid. Never used to do first aid really. We just dragged them off the hill, and then first aid came along, and all these training and whatever, and then guidebooks came along, and other stuff came along. So I can't do everything. And then children came along as well. So they had to. They were more important than rescue teams. So it's much more a great admiration for rescue team people now, because it's a huge commitment nowadays. And, it was in the past, but it was much more of a get out and drag them off. But yeah, I think I've always been keen on the hills. I'm quite keen on organising things, and I may never climb particularly hard. I suppose that's probably why, in a way. But I quite like what routes I've done, and so E1, E2, E3, sort of E4 now and then. Got dragged at the E5, E6, but that's more dragged, I suppose. But just being out on the hills and being on, like fell running, enjoy fell running. Failed Bob Graham, didn't quite manage the Bob Graham. I got round the Bob Graham, but 25 and a quarter hours. I think it was, I'd like to have got that ticked off, but I've been round. I like being on the hills. I think living in the lakes is good to be here. And I suppose the BMC, I always see it is such an important organisation that been involved with going back to many years to go into meetings, and often there's like 2 people there, 3 people there at these meetings, which were a bit, I suppose, quite like meetings, but isn't everybody's cup of tea. Whereas nowadays, I think it's much better drawing more people in. And but the BMC is just such a very very passionate about the BMC.
But, what is it in particular about the BMC. Then?
Well, it's such a body. I think people just think, oh, it's bureaucratic, and we want to get. In a way, climbers, partly the whole thing is getting away and doing your own thing. You don't want rules and regulations and things like that, but you have to have something in the modern world to sort of fit into, and it fits in very well in its own anarchic way. In a way, sometimes I think you've got to sort of, but you've got the system. You have to work with it, and I think if people are working away like yourself and lots of other people working away doing their thing with the BMC, it keeps the system going, and it allows people to get out there and enjoy the mountains without the sort of a bureaucracy that often comes along, really. But, yeah.
So have you just mainly climbed in the lakes then, or climbed?
Climbing, or mainly the lakes initially, and then Wales, Scotland, States. Been to, well, I've climbed the 4 days in Yosemite, but it's Joshua Tree. Climbed with Paul Rossi out in Utah. Had a fantastic trip out there with a few of us. Met Paul Ross out there, who climbed some of his routes, and Paul's one of my legends. He's one of my heroes, definitely going back to years ago. Used to go to the they used to have a cafe, cafe in Keswick called the Lamplighter, and the cafe bar. Used to go there. I've been there. Remember going there once, and the legend was there. Paul Ross was there, and remember hearing Xanadu on the jukebox. I saw this last night. I quite fancied it, but I was too nervous, too shy. But climbing all in Borrowdale. So the States, been the Alps. Never quite sure about the Alps. I always got frightened about always snow and hurricane, thunderstorms and lightning, and always go to Chamonix. And I was so pray for bad weather that I didn't have to go up and climb the mountains. When you go up there and you think, well, this is great. When you actually get into it, it's just fantastic. And did a few Eldorado motorheads, and which is probably one of the best routes I've done, I think. And Morocco, been to Tafrout. Mr. Bonington told me, was he a Mr. then? Would have been. Let slip in about 2001, 2 or so, about him and Joe Brown. Sadly, he's now gone. Very sad. And all the golden oldies going out to Tafrout and climbing out there. So I went out there with 2003 with friend Chris King, and had a great time. We got quite a few new routes done, and a few Tisgood crack. We did the second descent of that, which was a Joe Brown route, and quite a few other routes out there, which was and to see these guys, just met the great Joe, and they said, what do we do, and just so enthusiastic. And Derek Walker, he was there, Les Brown, Claude Davies, absolute heroes. And another thing, I used to organise talks, lectures in Penrith. I went to Trent Polytechnic in Nottingham.
Really? So did I.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, oh, amazing. Yeah, this went for the year. I went a year's course, did accountancy, led into a chartered accountant, and so did accountancy. Linked in with the Nottingham Climbing Club, and there's Doug Scott and all that down there. So I climbed the odd time with Doug down there and other people from Paul Denny, people down there. And
what year was that? What year was that, Ron? What year was that?
74.
That was before I went.
Maybe before that. No, 70.
Yeah.
Hello. About that, anyways. And 70, because I qualified 74. So and then going back in the van in a minute, getting a lift back in the back of a minivan one night with Doug, and I was about to come back to Penrith, and Doug was he's written his book Big Wall Climbing, and we got up to giving a talk in Penrith, and said, yeah, okay, so he come to give to Penrith. So I came back to Penrith, kept this in mind, contacted the rescue team, and they weren't too bothered. They had a talk by Ian Clough, sadly, a few years before that, which was a bit of a flop, unfortunately, so they weren't really sure about that. And then the photographic club wasn't too bothered. And then I thought, well, and there's other issues. We thought, let's have it in a climbing club in Penrith. Yeah. So we developed some crags at Armathwaite and Lazenby, and Stuart and myself, and they're quite nice to have a body to publish it. And then I met somebody else, Jim Kilduff, who joined the Carlisle Club, didn't know anybody in Penrith. So, we should have a Penrith climbing club. So we ended up with the Eden Valley Mountaineering Club. So we had the three things with the guidebook. Jim didn't join the Eden Valley Club, but they had a club that people could identify, and then have a lecture by Doug. So Doug gave the first talk at Penrith on big wall climbing. So Doug's given quite a few talks after that. Yeah. One of the best, great one was Paul Pritchard. Paul gave a talk on hyperbola on Mount Asgard, right. And Doug was in the audience and gave the vote of thanks at the end, because he did Mount Asgard originally. So a lovely circuit. So we had lots of, like Doug, Chris Boynton lived close by, so Chris gave a talk on Changabang. Yeah. Took Braithwaite on Everest, southwest face. Martin Boyson getting his knee jammed in Trumgo Tower. So going through, oh yeah, good one. One day, Louise Wilson used to be Chris's secretary. She contacted us and said, Jim Bidwell's in the country, and he's given a talk in London, and he's given one at Placid Brennan, and he wants to give one in the lakes. Do you want to have him? I thought, ooh, yeah, yes, please. So we had Jim Bidwell, and he gave a talk, a little pub in Penrith. There wasn't that many folk there, but he said that was the best place because he stood there with his pint, and so Jim Bidwell was sitting to Penrith. So it was amazing. And then Johnny Dawes. Well, Steve Howe, friend Steve. Steve moved down to Llanberis, and he knew Johnny and all that done, and got Johnny to give a talk. So Johnny gave his first talk in Penrith at the Playhouse, and all these animations. He didn't actually have any. He should have had a spotlight on him, sort of showing all his moves and things like that. Mm-hmm. So he's been a couple of times doing some master classes and things like that. Jerry Moffat came. Oh, Ron Fawcett went to Ron's first talk at Skipton, I think it was, or Ilkley, and saw him afterwards and said, would he come to Penrith? So he came to Penrith and gave a talk. So it was, yeah, that we got the Eden Valley Mountaineering Club going, and that was very active. Well, it's still very active, yeah. And to all that. So, yeah, it's all good fun.
So, looking like the topic of conversation is like people's bookshelves, and it looks as if there's a load of guidebooks holding up your wall.
Guidebooks over that way.
It looks as if the guidebooks are holding up your wall, not the other way around.
Well, yeah, I know. It's a bit slow. You've got the lake in the middle, Wales. Yeah. That's the continent. Scotland's at the top. The peaks down to the right there.
Yeah.
And we've got Norway and Baffin and things that never been. Bought the Baffin guide, but yeah, it looks a bit spooky over there, really. So that's the guidebook world over there.
So how many, Ron? How many of those guidebooks, the Lakes ones, is your name in?
Oh, quite a few, I think.
Yeah.
Anything since 1984, did the 84, 86 Bordeaux guide, and then onwards. So I suppose I'm mentioned somewhere along them. So it's quite fun. We're on with the Sports and Slate guide at the moment. Just there's a new guide which is Fern Rock Stroke, Jagged Lakes, not Jagged Lakes, Wide Guide, and that's we're on with that. So it's got to bring the sports climbing and the slate climbing together. So we've been on with there's a crag called Rooney Stone. It's a nice one. A Rooney Stone, not very big, little quarry in Little Langdale. We've been bolting, rebolting it, retrobolting it, some of the roots and new roots there. So we've had the winter drilling, and it's all glue-ins, and you can't glue them in if it's less than 5 degrees. So we've had to drill the holes, and we've had to wait until it was warmer to drill the hole, to glue them in. So 19th of March, we had a session up there. Corona was lurking. I thought, get up there, had a session. So we've got a lot of bolts glued in. We've got one route done, which we call self-isolation.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's been done. And then we've got other routes, which are projects. The guide's going to come out, and we've called them projects. We've actually given them names, these routes. So we've got, there's lockdown, and there's contagion. There's one called illicit dreams, and there's one left of it we've called Corona Nightmare. So we've got that one. And then this is to be a bit happier than that. There's a nice slabby route. We've called it Smile at the End of the Rainbow.
Oh, that's
so these routes haven't been done yet, but they're all there waiting to be done.
Yeah.
So I think some people very much climb, very focused on training, got to climb the hardest grade. I just never been particularly good, like fell running, go for the run. So good, just great to be on the hills, and you're not under pressure to sort of break some record or climb E10 or whatever. And sit down at the top and look at people, have a chat to people. Youth meet, great. The old youth meet, yeah. Because that was
because you have in your nomination the two amazing names, James McCaffrey and Emma Twyford, are mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, you've mentored them in the past.
Well, back in 1999, 1998, Mike Gibson was at the area BMC meeting, was talk about the youth meet and things like that. So Mike and myself sort of got together and organised the meets at that time. So the first meet, Emma came, 1999, Emma came, put Emma and Angela Soper together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they went up to Gimmer.
Yeah.
And I got a picture of them together on Gimmer, like called Ancient and Modern. Like Angela would have been younger than me even then. So she still looked just like she does now, absolutely amazing. So they had a great time together. So Emma just wandered up Gimmer String, and I got a nice picture looking down on Emma on there. And that they went on. We had Calf came along, and he helped out with the meets, and Emma came. Well, she was not quite sure how long she might have been when she became 18, but quite a few others. I think one of the most amazing time we had there's also so many, you get 10, 15 kids along for the weekend. They stay in the Rowhead hut in Langdale, and pay 20 quid for the weekend, meal thrown in Saturday night. And but Dave Burkett came along one weekend, and he gave a talk on what he was doing. Kath gave a talk on what he'd been doing. One weekend, actually the following weekend, Kath went to do Masters Wall on Pluggy, and I was on Pluggy. We were doing Troach. No, I went the weekend after, and we did Troach, and Seb Grieve was on Indian. He's checking out the Indian face, and then he was retrieving Kath's gear. So I got a photograph of Seb retrieving the gear. Not a lot of gear, and what it was pretty marginal gear. So. So Kath had his time. We had a great. Sadly, it finished 2006. We thought nobody killed or died or wasn't. There was 2 injured actually. None of the kids, luckily, but I won't say what
results.
Yeah, we survived. So, but the last we had. We went up to Pay the Ark with one George Ulrich.
Right. Really?
George, yeah. Well, George came along. George and Simon. Anyways, Simon Platt. Simon came on with 12-year-old Simon, and we went to Dowcrag, and John Temple came. He was there, and we climbed Millie's Route, and then I let Simon lead Giant's Corner, which shouldn't have done that, but anyways, he survived. It's only diff, so we got up that. And then John, myself, and Simon did Murray's Direct, which has got a route. There's a pitch called Tiger Traverse on it. So a year after, Simon comes back with a tiger suit. So I had to go up to Gimmer again, and Simon got dressed up in his tiger suit. So I've got a photograph of Simon in his tiger suit on the Traverse. So there's a new guide coming out sometime soon for Dow. So I think that picture's going to be in the guide. Fantastic. So that was Simon. Simon then brought this young lad called George Ulrich along with him. So we went up to Black Crag on rhinos with George and Simon and gang. George led his first route, which was Sky Ridge, the route called Sky Ridge. We placed the gear in the route, and we tipped the gear as we went up this route. So that was George's route. And then we had a lunch, and just below there's a little slab, which is only about 30 foot long. And Simon and George multi-pitched it. So they went halfway, 15 feet, belayed, then brought the other one up, went to the top, and then off they went. So that was George. And then Simon. And so the last time, 2006, went to Pavey. And I forget the other lad, but there was Rob, who's called, and George, who did Capella. Went to Capella, and I said, George was, by then he was climbing, he could have sold it, I think. He was only 15 or something. Rob hadn't done anything like that before. I said, well, it's straight up, it'll be okay. It's only 300 foot long, with E1.
What can possibly go wrong?
So we went up there. So George was in his element. Then we did Golden Slipper. And then we traversed along and abseiled down to Jack's Rake, and then all gang was all walked down. So that was the youth meet, and nobody died, which was a good thing. So we stopped then, and then we started again. I saw a calf. I'm not keep seeing now and then, but how about started again? So we got it going in 2015. So whether it looks like this year is not going to happen, unfortunately. But it's so great to see. Erin and because Kath and Emma came along to one of the meets, and they came up on the Friday, and they went up and did Impact Day on Pavey E9. So that was the first E8, E9. Emma led that. The first lady to have led Impact Day. So having them along is just fantastic, and the kids just varying kids. Some of maybe won't carry on with the climbing, but others are inspired to move on. Yeah. So I think it's so important to get the kids out. Great, the Caths now got so many other events. Yeah. They haven't won the Wales, the Peak, and there's Northumberland one as well, I think. So, and I think it's so important to get kids out onto preferably trad routes, but just onto the crags, and which is what we're doing. So carry on. I think it's a bit of a nightmare trying to We've actually got 16 kids this time lined up to go, but I think unfortunately it won't happen this time. But we'll see how it goes. We've got adults come along.
Yeah. So apart from all this as well, though, you're now the secretary for the Lakes area.
Well, trying to get rid of that. Just I don't know. It just, unfortunately, I think whether it's there's lots of great people out there. I think I quite like. Actually, I quite like. I'm an accountant. I like figures. I like working on things. And I did think something yesterday. I was lying in bed. Well, actually, Kath Flitcroft, Kath, and there's Ken Taylor and Mike Parsons. And talking about, I think Ken's linked in with the Lake District National Park, BMC. It's wanting wanted unlocking lockdown and all these sort of things. So my brain was podding about 5 o'clock in the morning and think to do this and do that, whatever. So it's 6 o'clock, So I sat down and I knocked a paper together with stuff, and I got about 6 pages, I think, of ideas on linking to, obviously shops, toilets, what do you do with public toilets? Where do people go? You go to Keswick, where do you go to public toilets? And then there's problem about viruses on holes and killed off with chalk, and they use sanitizing stuff. And so I've got this together. I sent it to Ken, he sent it to Dave.
Okay, brilliant.
So I've actually thought some more bits up today, which were, one is, I suppose trying to get into the hills. Maybe big issue is mountain rescue. We don't want the rescue teams going up there, so it's having some checks on people going onto the mountains. And so I think if I've suggested that the main points, you've got somebody checking people going on the hills, and obviously can't check everybody. Well, if you look okay, then let they go. If you come along with flip flops and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it started to rain and stuff like that, and just think no. So anyway, that's off today. So I quite like that, but then I've got Juniper Trust, and then I've got Eden Runners, and you just think I've just do so much, and it is. But I suppose it's keep the balls in the air really. But nice if other people will come in, and certainly it is. I'm maybe not as active from the secretarial job that it could be. Mike's been really good, but I do a bit. I take the minutes, and it's good to be involved. I've kept out the ORGs and things like that, and just think, well, you can do so much, but then, and I think if people, it's great fun because people, I think you get more involved with what's going on. It's good to see what is going on. But some people just want to be out and climb, and that's it, and that's the nature. And you think, oh, okay, but you should maybe put something back, I think, into your sport, really.
Yeah. So what are you doing in lockdown then?
Oh yeah, well, I've been out flying all sorts of paths around Penrith.
All right.
And like there's it's obviously know where it is, and there's paths going out. There's quite a lot of I did a map of the north and south of Penrith. Got the Ordnance Survey map, and I marked on all the different paths around the area. Okay. So I've emailed out the Eden Runners. I've got them. They've got a copy, and I've emailed it out to the Eden Valley Mountaineering Club and anybody else. Because all these paths, people don't normally think about them really. Yeah. So I've been going along a lot of these. I've never been along before. Some of them, they're only like 3 or 4 miles away. So I've been doing those. But then there's a few access issues of they want signage. There's not, the signs are pretty rubbish really. There's no signs. One's actually got an application to close it. That was actually put in 2008. I found out. Right. And you got the 2026 review of paths, I think, coming up.
There is.
So Pat Bell from the county council, she was in touch, and so in linking with her, and there's also Debbie Holden, and John Holden's the president of the Carlisle Club. So and I thought, well, I'm looking at this, and they're looking at that. So I put a big schedule together of all these paths and identifying where you want signage, have signage, and 2 issues. Actually, there's one of the paths goes across. We did it the other day. Well, went so far, and then they built a motorway in the way. The M6 is in the way, and you can't do it. So, and the path's still on the map, as if you can go across the motorway. Yeah. And that's rubbish. So I've seen another potential way, and that's an idea of having another path along by there. And then there's a thing called the Thacker Beck, which is it used to be the water supply for Penrith, which goes from the River Petrel to the River Enant, and that goes to the middle of Penrith. And we've sort of found bits of that, and there's no information about that, so it's having information. So I've got an Excel spreadsheet I'm putting together for all these things. So as well as
that's what you're doing in lockdown. Yes. Right.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Like I've been go to the you got various groups who are helping out individuals as a Penrith support group, and the town council got a link. But there's actually a lot of fantastic help with you got the food bank, which I keep asking, do you want help? No, they're okay, which is fantastic. So a huge amount of help for people. Go to the supermarket, and some friends of ours, they've one's got a disabled kid, and they don't go out much, so we could get them some food, and then somebody else, another chap, his wife's not well at all, he doesn't get out much, and he wanted to make a cake, so I bought him some, we've got to get some stuff for this cake, and buttermilk, you know, all the different things that I never knew about, so I've got those. So yeah, it's just awful, yeah, the whole thing really, and you're looking out at the lakes. It looks a bit dull today, and whether we're going to get bad weather for a while, or whether it's going to be sunny. It's nice when it is sunny.
Yes.
So what have you been doing? Have you been?
Yeah, I've been going on my daily walk, which, I mean, I live in a city, I live in Nottingham.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, like you say, discovering paths and parks that I've never really been to, you know, so yeah, walking from my front door, but I mean, I knew the parks were there and I used to go running around them, but actually discovering all like woodland areas and loads of wild garlic. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it's quite hilly where I live, so that's good. Finding lots of like, you know, little snickets and things with steps up to run up and down and stuff. So and I'm keeping a record of how far my elevation, and I've been doing a few of the challenges, you know, like walking up Snowdon on the stairs and
so
wow. And yeah, we're in the final stages though of the peak area wide guide.
Oh yes, hear that, yes.
So cracking on with that.
Yeah, we've got linking in with the publishers for the Sports and Slate, and the Richard's communicating with printers on that. Brilliant. That's a good combination, a good getting together with that.
Yeah, and BMC's just keeping me busy.
Yeah. So is this your last year, or have you got another year?
Well, there's a virtual AGM on the 13th of June. And so then the next one, 2021, my 3 years will be
3 years. So you got another year? Yeah.
Yes, but then I can go for another 3 years.
Yeah. Life would not be the same without being president of the BMC. You just go back to normal. You're enjoying it.
Oh yes.
I suppose the right word. Yeah, you got to enjoy it.
I wouldn't do it otherwise, of course.
No. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll just, before I stop recording, so yeah, I mean, it's just talking to you, and I mean, yeah, I could literally just sit and talk to you all day. But I just, it's phenomenal everything that you've contributed towards mountaineering in voluntary roles over the years. So I just can't think of any more worthy recipient of the George Band Award. So, you know, what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's amazing. Because I saw George give a talk, I think with Joe Brown. Yeah, right, George and Joe gave a talk at Reged about climbing Kanchenjunga. Yeah, and Joe didn't give many talks, and not about George, but certainly I never met him, but certainly went to a talk by George Band and Joe at which what two guys. Like, I'm very sad that I think there was something in some of the papers, but there's been very little about Joe passing away in the national papers, which is very sad, because he's on a par, well, maybe not quite the same as Sterling Moss, but he's up there. He's up with Sterling Moss and people of that, maybe that age, will know from years gone by. But what a guy he was, really. But George Band was something else.
I know. I'll switch the recording off now, and then we can carry on talking. Right.